we're happy to announce the long-awaited return of Hidden Machines, also known as HMs. We have
No one
also
asked
decided
for
that in order to
that.
stop trainers from ever losing their progress, autosave will be permanently on.
Why?
We are also excited for trainers to have a challenge at the returning Battle Chateau.
No.
We decided not to add the Battle Frontiers, we thought it was too complex.
No.
We are also implementing a plethora of buffs for the already stupidly overpowered fairy types.
No.
Oh, my head. I need to see someone about these nightmares. Alright, Q. Thanks, mate. Oh, and you brought me a newspaper. Breaking news, Disney has bought gay. What the Pokemon Day, as of this video being uploaded, assuming it comes out on time, is this Friday. And it's been 2 years since Scarlet and Violet came out, so Gen 10 should most likely be announced within this year or maybe next year. At least, most likely during Pokemon Presents, which will be on Pokemon Day. Maybe alongside something about Legend ZA, anything to do with Legend ZA. I hope Strong Style and Agile Style come back for Legend ZA. But anyway, there are many things I'd like to see in the next generation of Pokemon games, many of which are just features that have disappeared for whatever reason they disappeared for. And in this video, I'll be talking about 10 features that I would like to see make a return in Gen 10 of the Pokemon games. Let's do this. Firstly, one of the things I'd like to see return in the next generation of Pokemon is an actual evil team. The last three, while Team Star were just bullied kids, Team Yell were Marnie's crazy fans, Team Skull wasn't really that threatening compared to the Aether Foundation in the main Sun and Moon story, and we haven't had an actual evil team that posed an actual threat to the main region since Kalos and Team Flare. And as much as I like the characters from the supposed evil teams we've had in the last 3 generations, I can't seem to take them seriously compared to the older characters like Giovanni or Cyrus from past generations. And yes, I know that Pokemon's supposed to be a children's game, but destroying large-scale criminal organizations as a child who left home like a week ago is pretty funny. Secondly, I'd like to see fishing make a return to the main series games. It's been in the game since the very beginning, and it gradually got more complex and became more of a niche mechanic as time went by, just for it to completely get wiped off the face of the Pokemon world when Legends Arceus got released. And, well, not having it in Scarlet and Violet, which introduced multiplayer in the form of the Union Circle, was a missed opportunity in my opinion. I just know the fishing competitions would have gone crazy. Also, there are a lot of Pokemon in that game I'd rather encounter through fishing in my own time, which instead enjoy harassing me during theirs. That being said, I will wait patiently for the day that fishing will make a return to main series Pokemon. Number 3, no shiny logs, or at least less shiny logs. I don't shiny hunt often, especially when it comes to resetting for legendaries, and I've only ever completed a hunt once, and though not shiny hunting often does have its benefits, being the fact that I've never failed a shiny because 1, I barely find them anyways, and secondly, my crippling anxiety keeps me overprepared, because I know the day will come when I trip up. That being said, putting shiny locks on most Pokemon that aren't wild encounters isn't the best. Personally, in the older games, encountering legendaries was a little bit more exciting knowing that they could be shiny and my bad luck would have finally been lifted. It never was. And it would also reduce the demand for shiny legendaries from these websites that spam Wonder Trade with advertisements in the form of level 100, 100 IB shiny Pokemon which are obviously hacked, and people would actually try to get those Pokemon for themselves, legitimately. Also, I'm a bit of an OT snob. If I'm gonna have a shiny legendary, it has to be from my account, or else it doesn't feel as special. And plus, I know that most of the time this is done to make cutscenes before encountering the legendary more accurate, but having the Pokemon be shiny wouldn't really be an issue. I've never really heard of anyone complain about finding a shiny, to be honest, unless they didn't have any Pokeballs when they did. Next, we have the National Dex. No one liked Dexit. My Panzer's been collecting dust in Pokemon Home for almost a year now, and some people have Pokemon stranded in there to the point that they've collected enough dust to the point that they've discovered a new Pokemon type. The Dusty type. That was a terrible joke. But the main point is, a Pokemon game where you could keep every single Pokemon from every single generation is, well, pretty cool Pokemon game. I mean, yeah, there is over 1,000 now, and they'd almost definitely be adding more in the next generation. But I love to. There's this Shedinja strat I really want to try, and I'm just gonna need the National Dex so I can pull it off. Though, if they do introduce the National Dex, that does mean they're probably gonna have to balance everything out, and that would take a very long time. Because Pokemon power creep is real. Very real. At number 5, we have rivals. Mean rivals. Me asking for this doesn't mean that I didn't like the last few rivals, especially Scarlet and Violet's rivals. Nemona, Arven, and Penny were some of the best Pokemon rivals we've ever had, and there's just something so satisfying about humbling, cocky, self-entitled dummies who still think they're better than you despite the fact that they've literally, most likely, never even beaten you. I mean, I miss naming my rival Buttface or some cryptic slur that the game wouldn't be able to... Oh! That's why they got rid of it. Damn, I'm only figuring this out now. Huh. At number 6, we have the return of Triple Battles. Triple Battles were introduced in Gen 5 and were absent for the last few generations, which is sad because I actually really liked Triple Battles. And with the Switch and Switch 2, I think it would be a good idea to reintroduce Triple Battles into the main series games. And maybe a battle where all 6 members of each team are out, like a crazy free-for-all. I think that would be awesome. At number 7, we have Pokemon following you. Correctly. A perfect 2D example of this done right is Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and a perfect 3D version of this is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And as much as I understand that in order to maintain a sense of realism in a fictional game about catching and battling and trading monsters, some Pokemon are just naturally faster or slower, and in very rare cases, the same speed as the player when it comes to running in the latest games. Now here's my proposal for helping the slow ones keep up with you, and well, the big ones should probably just be mounted by the players, and the small Pokemon should basically just be carried by the player, maybe on the shoulder or on the head or just in your arms. And if a Pokemon is faster than you when it's running, I mean, what's stopping them from slowing down and just matching your speed? I mean, they're fully capable. I tested it in the Synchro machine. So that's how Pokemon should really follow you in the next generation of games, if they actually decide to make Pokemon follow you in the next generation of games, which I hope they do. At number 8, we have adding a new battle facility, like the Battle Tower. Gen 10 should really have some sort of battle tower. All the other generations before Gen 9, excluding Gen 1, had a battle tower or some sort of battle facility. And I don't really think the Blueberry League counts, in my opinion, because there's not really a part where you can battle 7 NPCs in a row, scaling up in difficulty, and compare your win streaks to other players, with a big boss you can fight after getting a certain win streak, like the Battle Brain in Emerald or the Battle Frontier bosses in Pokemon Platinum. And I mean a Battle Frontier, not some chateau. Or the Battle Tree was okay, to be honest, but some sort of battle tower with a notably strong boss at the top for you to fight. But I was surprised that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet didn't actually have a battle tower. It was a bit weird. And moving on. At number 9, we have a more difficult Pokemon League. The Paldean Elite Four was okay, other than the fact I was able to access my boxes in between the battles. But Geeta really wasn't the top champion. I feel like she made the champion rank because she was scared of losing her title due to her knowing how bad she actually is. Her team has Avalugg and Go-Go on it, and the Go-Go is benched for Chestnut in the rematch, which is weird because, I guess having that much Kalos Pokemon on your team was probably just an Easter egg hidden to show the player what the next game was, which is Legend ZA. But that were better Kalos Pokemon she could have put on her team. Like Avalugg, really? Not even Hisuian Avalugg? Kieran from the DLC is actually an incredible champion. He had little characteristics from past champions that made him a lot more interesting as a character. He was your rival that always strives to be better than you, to the point that he actually became the champion of the VV League. He had major character development, where at one point he was just in a real depression and overcame it and became a nice guy after. He was actually a challenger and one of the first ever champions to ever specialize in double battles. And last but definitely not least, we have number 10, the return of Pokeros. Pokeros is a virus that your Pokemon can catch, which makes it considerably stronger and gain EVs a lot faster. It's also a lot rarer than shiny Pokemon, but for some reason they removed it in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Fun fact, I actually got my first case of Pokeros on my third ever playthrough of Pokemon Crystal before I got my first ever actual shiny that wasn't the red Gyarados. And I remember the nurse Joy in Blackthorn City telling me that there were microorganisms on my Pokemon, something like that. And then Professor Elm explained to me that my Pokemon had Pokeros over the phone when I walked out the Pokemon Center, and I checked my Pokemon status to see if it said okay, and it said Pokeros instead of okay. And Pokeros being spread like crazy through the use of the GTS made it very easy to train your Pokemon in past generations, especially Gen 8 with all the hacked shinies that people were just sending out onto Wonder Trade. But it would make the games a little bit too easy for people trying to play casually, but I think it'd be cool to bring it back and only available to players who completed the post game or something like that. Alright, that's it. That's my Gen 10 suggestions on what I hope will be added to the next generation of Pokemon. If you like this video, like and subscribe. This is very, 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 very late. It was meant to come out on Monday, and I don't even think it's gonna come out on Wednesday, because I'm recording this right now at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. It's not even 4 anymore, it's 5 o'clock. Sorry about that, guys, but remember to click the bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Hopefully that will come out on time and I won't procrastinate this next week. This week, actually. Damn, I'm so behind. And until next time, I hope you hit all your fire blasts, thunders, and blizzards. And keep daydreaming. I'll see you in the next one.